By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how much money you need to retire, down to the dollar, using a formula backed by 97 years of market data. And the twist at the end? It's something even seasoned investors get wrong, a mistake that could mean needing hundreds of thousands more than you think. So grab your phone calculator because you're going to want to run your own numbers before this is over. Here's what's at stake. A 2023 Alliance survey found that 64% of Americans fear running out of money more than they fear death itself. Not illness, not loss, death. And yet the Employee Benefit Research Institute estimates that 40% of Americans will actually run out of money in retirement if they don't change course. 2 out of 5 people. That's not a fringe outcome, that's a near coin flip. The good news? 2 numbers change everything. 4% and 25. Back in October 1994, a financial planner named William Bengen, working out of a small office in Los Altos, California, published a paper that quietly reshaped how the world thinks about retirement. Bengen wasn't a celebrity economist. He was a former aerospace engineer turned solo financial advisor. He spent months digging through historical stock and bond return data going back to 1926, asking one simple question: what's the highest withdrawal rate that would have survived every single 30-year retirement period in recorded history? He expected the answer to be around 3%. It wasn't. The data kept coming back to 4. I was shocked, Bengen later said. He called it the safe max, the maximum safe withdrawal rate. It's been the foundation of retirement planning ever since. Here's how it works. Pull out that calculator now. Take what you spend each year and multiply it by 25. That's your retirement number. $50,000 a year? You need 1.25 million saved. 40,000? 1 million. 80,000? 2 million. The math is that clean. In 1998, 3 professors from Trinity University in San Antonio ran the same analysis across decades of market data and found that a 4% withdrawal rate from a balanced portfolio had a 95% success rate over 30 years. That study has been updated twice, in 2011 and again in 2021, and the rule held both times. Financial planner Michael Kitzes analyzed the historical outcomes and found something that surprises most people. The median retiree following this rule didn't end up broke. They ended up with 2.8 times their starting portfolio. The average outcome isn't ruin, it's wealth. Write down your number. That's your finish line. Now hold on to it, because the next part complicates it in a way that matters. Here's where things get interesting. 2 people can retire with the same savings, the same portfolio, the same 4% withdrawal, and have completely opposite outcomes. Not because of anything they did wrong, because of when they retired. This is called sequence of returns risk, and most people have never heard of it. Someone who retired in January of 2000 with $1 million walked straight into the dot-com crash. Years 1, 2, and 3 wiped out significant value. Then 2008 hit in years 8 and 9. Their portfolio was largest right when the market fell hardest. They were selling shares at depressed prices just to cover their bills. Now compare that to someone who retired in January of 2010. They caught the longest bull market in American history right out of the gate. Same rule, same savings, completely different life. A portfolio hit by a 30% crash in year 1 versus year 20 can produce more than a $400,000 difference in final value, even with identical average annual returns across the entire period. The sequence is everything. This is why the 1966 retiree haunts retirement planning circles to this day. Someone who retired that year did everything right, saved diligently, followed a responsible withdrawal strategy, and still nearly ran out of money by the early 1980s. Not from carelessness, from a brutal combination of inflation and a terrible sequence of returns. History handed them the worst possible timing. Not everyone agrees on what to do about it. Wade Pfau, a professor at the American College of Financial Services, argues that today's low bond yields make the 4% rule too aggressive, that 3% may be more appropriate now that bonds don't pull the same weight they did in Bengen's data. On the other side, Kitzes argues the real risk isn't running out, it's dying with too much. That most people are so scared of failure, they underspend their entire retirement and sacrifice quality of life they already paid for. Both of them are right about something. The rule is a starting point, not a guarantee. The modern upgrade is the guardrail strategy, developed by researchers Jonathan Guyton and William Klinger. Spend more. When markets are up, pull back when they're down. That flexibility alone allows a starting rate closer to 5% while keeping historical safety high. Rigid rules break, adaptive ones bend. If you're finding this useful, hit subscribe. I drop videos like this every week, and the best part is still coming. All right, now for the one I've been saving. Because everything we've covered, the 25x rule, the sequence risk, rests on an assumption most people never question. Bengen's original rule was designed for a 30-year retirement. He assumed people retired around 65 and needed their money to last until roughly 95. That's the window the data covers. But the FIRE movement, Financial Independence Retire Early, has millions of people applying the 4% rule to retirement starting at 35, 40, or 45. Retirements that need to last 50 or 60 years, not 30. And Bengen himself addressed this directly. For a 40-year retirement, the safe withdrawal rate drops to approximately 3.5%. For 50 years, closer to 3.3%. Here's what that means in real dollars. Planning to retire at 40 and spend $50,000 a year? The 4% rule says you need $1.25 million. But at 3.5%, the rate actually built for your time horizon, you need $1.43 million. At 3.3%, you're looking at $1.5 million or more. That's a gap of up to $250,000 from 1 percentage point. From a rule most early retirees are using without knowing it was never built for them. Pete Adeney, better known as Mr. Money Mustache, retired in 2005 at age 30 in Longmont, Colorado, with roughly $600,000 saved and a young son. He and his wife have lived on about $25,000 to $27,000 a year ever since. Their portfolio has grown through 2 major market crashes, but Pete has also written honestly about something the math doesn't capture. The biggest challenge, he wrote, is the social pressure to keep consuming. And there's something else he's touched on, something that doesn't show up in any spreadsheet. Many people who've mathematically hit their number keep moving the goalpost. One more year, they tell themselves, then another. Not because the math changed, because the fear didn't. Jonathan Clements, longtime personal finance columnist for the Wall Street Journal, wrote about this pattern extensively. People who've already won, still sitting in jobs they hate, because running out of money feels more real than any formula can dissolve. The math gets you to the finish line. The fear is what keeps you from crossing it. So here's where we land. Your retirement number is your annual spending multiplied by 25. Calculate it right now and write it down. But if you're retiring before 65, your real multiplier is closer to 28 or 30, depending on how long your money needs to work. And no matter when you retire, the sequence of market returns matters almost as much as how much you've saved. 3 numbers, 25, 28, 30. Pick the one that matches your life, build toward it, and don't let the fear move the line once you get there. If this video helped you see your retirement number more clearly, share it with someone who needs to do this math, and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Because next time, we're talking about exactly how to build the portfolio that makes this rule actually work.